Hello everyone. Well, it's the second day of my car repair story, and today I want to fill in the holes, and I got some things to do that. Actually, I had to go out again because I wound up getting the wrong type of gloves. These are neoprene gloves, and while they're considered excellent for many things, for automotive, they are considered only fair. So I got out, for automotive, they suggest either using nitrile, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this stuff correctly, nitrile gloves like these, or PVA gloves. These are a lot nicer in a lot of ways because I think your arms, your fingers can, they're more flexible. I think I saw some PVA gloves the other day and they're a little less flexible. And I also hadn't gotten 80 grit sandpaper because one of the videos I had, as I said, I'm not an expert at this type of thing. And I'm doing my best to try to learn it, but a lot of these videos, they kind of, I guess they assume that, it's going to be other car people that are watching them and that they already have a certain amount of information. So they're not always, I don't think, they're slightly beginner friendly if you have a certain amount of knowledge, but when you're totally ignorant like I am, sometimes you're left kind of figuring things out. And one of the things I had heard, people were always saying, well, 80 grit sandpaper is too rough for a car. It'll scratch, it'll scratch it. But the Bondo over here recommends sanding down the area with 80 grit. One thing I have noticed, though, for anybody who's just as ignorant about me, the higher the number of sandpaper, the finer it is, and the lower the number it is, the coarser it is. So, like 80 grit, here I've got some 400 grit. And when you feel it, I mean, just even the appearance of the two. This is 80 grit and this is 400. 400 is very, fine, and even with the thing, they say finishing. 80 grit is a lot rougher. So, and, so the lower and lower those, the more coarser and coarser it is. But anyway, Bondo suggested using 80 grit, so I had 60 grit and I had 40 grit. At this point, since I'm kind of ignorant about things, I don't feel comfortable straying from the instructions, so I was like, 60 grit, it's only 20, lower, but, there might be a reason why they don't say use any type of sandpaper, so, at this point, since I'm ignorant, I'm just, trying to follow the instructions at least. I got some duct tape. I'm going to put some tape over the holes because I don't want the stuff, even though I found out that when I looked on the underside of our hood, actually there's some sort of structure under the hood. It's kind of loopy looking actually, that actually it gives additional protection, which is nice because I've been worried that, so really where the rust holes are, it's falling into this structure. It's not actually falling into the engine. There's only little itsy bitsy parts that are actually exposed to the engine, so that's been kind of nice. But I'm going to use the duct tape anyway to cover the hole so that I can, I don't want the stuff, just to be extra safe. A lot of people actually swear, a lot of the people were swearing by duct tape. Actually, the lady said that a lot of times people use duct tape instead of the patch, and I have to admit the duct tape might actually give a flatter appearance, but I don't know, I think I would feel better using the patch anyway, even though it might give a more raised appearance, so it may not quite look as good. And the last thing I get, this is actually for paint odor, and I don't know if it's going to be that useful. Some of this stuff can be quite stinky, but I was kind of hoping that this would at least help me, put down the smell. And of course, you only use this stuff in, in a well-ventilated area. I'm going to be outside, so hopefully there's nothing more well-ventilated this. What I've got here is Bondo Body Repair Kit. This kit has a cream hardener, a spreader, and a self-adhesive metal body patch. And, of course, I have several little holes, but I think I can cut down this, the body patch. Which means I'll probably need some cutters, too. So, today kind of got off to a rough start. I was all hip to go. I was just, I got up and I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the auto repair store and pick up the few things that I didn't have. I was down onto my last $15, so I was hoping that I would be able to buy them, but I didn't figure they would be that expensive. And I was like, I was going to go out and I was going to fix the car holes, And then I got out, and on my lawn, one of our cats had died. So when I came home, I had to bury him. So it was kind of a rough start for the morning. They do recommend reading all your directions, and particularly how to, if you never used this stuff before, I would read the precautions about how to treat it. It's not good to inhale. There's warnings about inhaling the stuff, and you have to keep it from your eyes and your skin. So I would recommend, pretty much, it seems to be rinse a lot of water. Swallowing, they just said don't induce vomiting. Now, I don't really see how you could accidentally swallow it, but everything else, it's pretty much flush with a lot of water. So, yeah, but I always read that stuff. I might be a nerd, I don't know. But, the way I figured is if you get it on you, then suddenly you're going to be like, I'm burning, and you're not going to be in the mood to read instructions at that point. So, hopefully, at least if you prepare them ahead of time, read them ahead of time, maybe you'll have some presence of mind to do something. So, the first thing they do, well, directions for use. I like the Bondo people. Read directions, and the first thing with the read directions. Read all directions and warnings for safe and proper application. That's number 1. Or, well, actually, that's number 0, I guess. Okay, number 1, clean surface with warm soapy water or a residue remover and allow to dry. So, that's the first thing I'll be doing. So, the first step is to rinse it or wash the area you're going to be working with warm soapy water. I'm not going to bother. I'm going to use my neoprene gloves for that. They might as well get some use. For this aspect, it's okay. They did kind of make my hands smell the other day. Okay. So, we're going to wash the area there. Warm soapy water. Actually, I might just go ahead and wash the whole thing. Yeah, actually that was a good idea. Anyway, there was some bird poo on her. Okay, I think I'll rinse that off too. And it's only the hoods as far as I know. I'm just going to double check. But at the moment, it's only the hood that has the rust holes. So, okay, the next step is to sand the area with 80 grit sandpaper. They advise you to sand 1 to 2 inches around the repair area. So, we'll start with this guy here. Okay. Alright. I can't see anything. Oh, my glasses got all fogged up. Okay. So, yeah, right there. And that's what we're going to do with all the holes. Ooh-wee, I should have put on protective clothing before I did this part. Ugh, got dust all over me. So, I don't know if I've totally gotten it down to the middle, but I think I've gotten it close enough. I'm going to wipe this area off, and then we'll start the next step.